Hello, 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 and welcome to this episode of Bankroll Your Brains Thursdays. I'm Nicole Roberts Jones, the Bankroll Your Brains expert. Always excited to be here with you. So, listen, this episode is being pre recorded because as I speak, we are in pre production for my 2-day intensive Be the Answer. So, just because I'm in the middle of production, listen, I still don't want you to miss a thing. And I'm beyond excited that I have someone here that is called my partner in transformation. But before I introduce you to her, every Thursday, I am here with you to do one of three things as we look at bankrolling your brands. Number one, I want to make sure you understand the value tied to your brands, that you have brands, that God gave you purpose, on purpose, and are you living in the full power of it? The second is value tied to it. And the thing that I think is so interesting is so many people don't realize, whether you feel imposter syndrome, whether you don't feel good enough, that there's value tied to your purpose. And then the third is, how do you create multiple streams of income from it? I think today is actually bumping against 2 and 3. Excited, beyond excited to bring up our guest for the week. But before I bring her up, let me read her bio. So her name is Demetria Ruiz. Demetria is a business development dynamo, a sales trainer, a sales agency owner. She is gifted at identifying business opportunities, building and maintaining successful relationships, and collaborating to execute business strategy. With almost a decade of working with both corporations and online coaching conglomerates, Demetria offers a unique blend of leadership, vision, and innovation to maximize the way a business serves its ideal clients. In her work with corporations, she has been instrumental in streamlining systems to create greater ROI within the company. In the online coaching space, she has worked alongside million-dollar brands to support entrepreneurial companies to expand the way they serve the marketplace by creating deeper relationships with their audiences. So good, right? She's been dubbed the co-mission strategist, and she partners with entrepreneurs to help them move their mission forward. So listen, as you're coming in, I want you to say hello, tell me, name me where you're from. If she says anything that resonates with you, I want you to make comments, because although we're not here with you live, we will come back and look at every comment. So help me welcome Demetria to Bankroll Your Brains Thursdays. Hey, girl.
Hey.
Excited to have you here with me. So with that, we're going to just jump right in because I already know her conversation is going to be yummy, yummy, yummy. Listen, we're talking about sales. This is the ultimate stewardship. Sales is the ultimate stewardship. So tell us, why do you call sales the ultimate stewardship, Demetria?
Well, I call it stewardship because I feel like most people, when they think about sales, they think of a sales conversation as a form of trying to convince someone to do something that you want them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And as I, started my career in sales, I learned and I looked at it totally different. I realized just how much responsibility was placed in that role.
Right.
A business can be spending thousands, millions of dollars in marketing, and they're really counting on their sales team to be able to be good stewards of their business.
Right.
When you think of like even the root word steward, okay, so on an airplane, right? Stewards are the first interaction that most people have with their brand. Think of Virgin
Right.
Mobile. Richard Branson isn't the one greeting you. The pilot isn't the one greeting you. It's the stewards, the one that's helping you with your bags, the one that's giving you their drinks, the one that's, if you're in first class, giving you a hot towel. And so really understanding like you are an extension of, for Virgin Mobile, an extension of Richard Branson. And so to sit in a sales role, you really are the first interaction with a company, and you really are the stop point. Either they move through as a result of you, or they may not as a result of the work you do. So, hold that role with the responsibility that it deserves.
Right. And I love that you call it stewardship, because think about it. Listen, all my church folks out there, right? Think about what stewardship is, right? So typically when we're in church, it's talking about tithing and giving 10% back, right? But think about this. What happens when you're a good steward of your gift? What
Mm,
happens when you're clear and uncompromising and stewarding the gift that God gave you? And when you have a business, that's how you move the stewardship forward. Because listen, this is so good, Demetria. When you are stewarding your gift and giving God back what he gave to you, because that's what you do when you're serving people, right? You're being a real faithful steward to serve other people. And if you're not inviting them into a cell to work with you, if you're not giving an invitation to say yes to allow them to serve you through your business, then you're not being a good steward, right? So good, so
exactly.
good. So, what's the first thing an entrepreneur needs to know before hiring? Now, let me say this before I ask this question. I think I get this question a lot, and Demetria knows because she's one of the people that I'm blessed to collaborate with in my business. So I hire her company to work in my company, right? So the thing that so many of my clients that are, really, a lot of them are starting out, but some of them have been in business for years. But that would say they're in the first phase of really getting to predictable revenue. And I love when my clients are trying to hire a salesperson. It's like, hold on, girl, have you even sold anything yourself before you hire somebody else? Right. So I love this conversation. So let's dig into why and what entrepreneurs really need to look at before they even think about hiring a salesperson on their team.
So I think the first one, kind of going back to what I just said, is, looking at your stewardship within your business. So if you're building, one of the benefits of having a big Fortune 500 company is they've got the luxury of being able to afford to hire top talent. And as you're growing your business, most of the time you're not. So what you'll have to really consider is if you have the capacity to grow your business to a place where you can afford top talent. If you can't, then your next thing is to invest in being able to develop top talent, really being able to create top talent. And so if you're sitting in the place right now where you're having to create it, you're going to have to lead them, right?
Yeah.
And in order to lead, you've got to first be an example, because a salesperson isn't going to save your business. A salesperson isn't even going to grow it. It's only going to multiply what you are already doing.
So wait. She just said a nugget, y'all. It's already going to multiply what you're already doing. So if you're not able to successfully convert clients, it's going to multiply your lack of conversion, right? I think so many people think it's going to be some magic potion lotions themselves person is going to bring into your business. That's so good. Sorry, I interrupted you, but I couldn't.
Yeah, no worries. No, for sure. One of the two biggest reasons why, because a sales position, if I'm being completely transparent, has a lot of turnover in any industry. And the first top two is lack of leadership and not being able to make the amount of money that they're wanting to make. And so you've got to build your business up to a point where they can make a good commission from the business that you've built, and you're leading them effectively because they're only willing to follow a good leader. So first thing that you'll want to look at is, how are you stewarding your business? And is that something that you want to repeat and multiply?
And then the other thing you said that brought to mind is systems. Now, if you're going to bring in team, you have to be able to give them the way things operate. But first, let me back all the way up. You've got to know what your fingerprint is. So when people experience you, you want that same experience to happen throughout your business. It's a stewardship too, y'all. Be responsible with your gift, right? So that everybody's working from kind of the same sheet of music. If you have one band, you want one sound. Right. So as I'm saying, this is college football season, right? So all of you that have ever been to a HBCU and seen a band play, right? And they get all in. But if they're not playing on the same sheet of music, the music is going to be a little off, right? And so I think the thing that most people don't realize is that you've got to streamline all the processes that you have in your business first. And that comes with you doing them. Because even when I started working with Demetria, and she sort of asked me questions like, what's your conversion rate and what makes people convert and why do they say yes? And I had to be able to say that from me being able to close sales without her before she can close sales without me. That's kind of good, right?
Good.
And so you got to know, and not just for that, even my assistant, even my accounting team. I remember the reason I hire my accounting team. It's not funny, but it is funny. So because listen, if I could just be talent all day long, baby, you need to know I'd be happy with that. And sometimes when I would be on the road, I'd forget to pay a bill. Not because I didn't have the money in the account. I'm not thinking about paying my bills. I'm thinking about serving the people. And I realized when people were calling me like, Nicole, I sent my invoice in a week ago and oops, I forgot. I'm sorry. Right. I realized, okay, I have to hire somebody to handle that because I can no longer handle that piece in my business and maintain it. And I think it's so important. It's like first you got to be a good steward. There comes a time when you can't steward at all because you don't have the bandwidth. And I think that's when you need to start to hire somebody because you've been doing it. And now it's time to expand your capacity and hire people to help you. Right.
Yes.
Makes a big difference. So what are some of the things that entrepreneurs should consider when managing a sales team?
So I think you just said something really kind of key. If I can kind of rewind you back, I would. There's a difference between hiring people on your team as employees that you get to delegate tasks to, and hiring a salesperson. The difference between hiring an employee and a salesperson is actually talent. And what's required to manage a sales team, or even your first salesperson, is going to look entirely different than what's required to manage and groom and create a talent.
That's good. So tell me why you say a salesperson is a talent. Let's dig into that a little bit.
Absolutely. So think of just, again, what a talent is. An example of a talent would be an actor, right? Obviously, an actor is going to have some sort of like gift already in them. They already know how to act. But being able to manage talent versus someone who is giving you the scripts, who are managing your calendar, looks entirely different. And talent is going to innately have this nature to want to be groomed, is going to want to grow. They're going to want to be acknowledged. So it's going to require real care for this person versus an employee. An employee is happy with completing a task and getting paid for that task. Talent is looking to be fostered, is looking to be grown and groomed, is looking, again, for that collaboration, is really looking.
I was gonna say, the thing that, as you're saying that's coming up for me is that you, as talent, it's like you also know how to maneuver in your talent. So what I mean by that is and I'm gonna use Demetria and I as an example. So what I give Demetria, this is my ideal client. This is what my programs are. This is what their needs are. There are gonna be things that come up that's not in that, right? So when you're talented, you can act in the gray. When you are team, you're gonna be in the black and white only, right? So it's being able to maneuver in what's not being said. The thing that I love about you, Demetria, is when people come to us that are outside that line, because listen, the thing that I also love about Demetria is, although she is a sales expert, she doesn't sell, she serves. I want you to know the difference. You guys, how many times you've been in Nordstrom and the salesperson's following you all around? I don't know about y'all, but that makes me not want to buy anything. It's like, I will ask you if I need your help. Thank you. Right. And so those people are trying to make you do a sale because they're trying to get their commission instead of, making sure it's a good fit for you and not trying to shove a sale down your throat. And the thing that I love is that you look for what their need is, not for how can I make you buy this. And it's a big difference, y'all. It's a big difference to your ability to serve when you are talent, that you can actually find that need.
Yeah, the difference between like traditional selling and people teach this. This is definitely something that you can learn from anywhere. But if you're being taught to sell, you might land the first deal, but that doesn't mean that you get to maintain the relationship. And when you're building your business as an entrepreneur, every relationship counts. And really want to look at your customer life cycle. How long are they staying with you? They're not going to stay with you if you've sold them into a program. That program turned out to not be the right fit. Do you think they're going to trust you to make any decisions on their behalf or recommend anything to them after that? Not really. But if you serve them in the beginning, then you get to build a relationship. And as they grow, you get to support them along that journey. And that a long relationship means additional sales down the line.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's about caring about the person, right? And not just looking for the sale. I'm gonna say that one more time because somebody just needed that. It's about caring about the person and not just looking for the sale. I think some salespeople are like looking for the opening. Oh, there it is. I'm gonna go in there instead of saying, what I heard you say is, it's like when you go to the doctor. Doctor's not trying to sell you. He's trying to help you feel better, or she is trying to help you feel better. And so they give you a prescription based on what you say is happening for you. Oh, my throat is sore. So then they'll look down your throat, they'll listen to your heartbeat. Sometimes I wonder, why you listen to my heartbeat when my throat hurts? But anyway, I'm not a doctor, right? But they do all this thorough examination. And the thing that I love about you, Demetria, is you do the same thing. And then you say, here's a prescription. Here's what I heard you say. If you want to feel better, here's what you need to do. And then they get to choose. You're not forcing anything down their throat. And that's being a great steward as a salesperson, because you're helping them steward their gift well.
Yeah, that's really good. I think that's also information that if you can learn to do yourself, things that you can pass on to your salesperson. If you get somebody who comes on and maybe they're not performing in the way that you want them to perform, can you be able to accurately assess, okay, you prescribed them this, I reviewed your call and they said that they had this problem. This actually would have been the better recommendation. Like if you've got to be such a good steward of your gift that you can analyze that and you can coach to that so that you don't lead ineffectively or render that salesperson feeling like they're inefficient when really they've not been led properly. They've not been, you've not passed on that part of the sales process properly to them.
That's so good. The other thing that as you're sharing is coming to mind is all the people that ask me or say to me, well, I'm not, I think I need a salesperson because I'm not converting. I think I need a salesperson because my conversion rate is low. What would you say to that person, really around their conversion rate and about being time to hire someone to do their sales?
Again, kind of going back to what a salesperson does, it's going to multiply what you're already doing. If you can't
Mhm.
see it, then you can't really be sure that this person is going to see it too. And so
Mhm.
let's just say hypothetically, you do bring someone on board and maybe they fix it. Now, to be honest with you, your business is now held hostage by that salesperson. You don't want them to go nowhere because they're the one who fixed it and you don't even know how they did it. That's
Right.
like going to a mechanic. Not that we all need to be mechanics, but if they fix it, we're left always going to that expert to be able to do it. When if you're the CEO of your business, you really should be an expert on it first.
Right. Especially if they use duct tape, a little glue, they put a screwdriver in there to hold it, right? And so it worked for that moment, and then they leave, and then you're like, wait a minute, it's a screwdriver, some duct tape, and then you got to pull that process all the way apart because it might have worked for a second, but it wasn't lasting and sustainable because they just did what they needed to do in that moment to make it work.
And let's also talk about how you can reverse engineer that. If you
Mm,
can spend the time going back to analyze how to get your conversion rates up, then you get to multiply that in your marketing so that you don't have to worry about that continuing to happen, right?
mhm,
Instead of
mhm.
still, it's going to be this bottleneck if you don't first fix the problem. There's a bunch of people coming. My conversions rate is low. What step in the process do I need to go back and fix in order to help that thing flow smoother?
That's so good. Which speaks to Demetria's free gift. So she has a growth gauge assessment. So tell everybody, first of all, why do you need to take an assessment? Why would anybody need a growth gauge assessment? And how will this help them really understand their sales process in their business?
Well, I'm bringing this gift to you because I believe the biggest gift that I can give you is clarity. Getting clear
Mm,
on where you're at and what's that one shift, because that's usually what it is. It's one or two shifts that you need to make.
yep.
And so I'm bringing this gift. If you're an entrepreneur and you're sitting in a place where you're considering hiring a salesperson, or maybe you've hired salespeople in the past, it's not worked effectively, or you know that you're in a business that in order for it to grow, it's going to require a salesperson later on down the
Mhm.
line. This assessment is going to do one of two things. It's going to help you get clear on maybe that one fix that you need to make or the area that you need to focus on. And then it's also going to help give you a checklist of things that you'll want to kind of follow through as you're building and you're preparing your house to be ready to receive and groom top talent within your business.
Yeah, this is really a scale piece, right? So when
Hmm.
you start looking at how do I scale, like in other words, how do I take what I've been doing and you want to make sure everything you're doing is replicatable, meaning that as you grow, you've got to be able to take that and do more, right? So the thing I love about what Demetria does is she looks at where you are and how do I look instead of going all the way over here, it's like how do I go here first, right? And do this work here and get this good and then move here and then do this well and then move here. Because if you move from here to here, I guarantee you that's that duct tape, that bubble gum, that glue that you use to get there and you won't be able to stay there. Those are the people that get overnight success. That when you start a business, you might do great your first launch, but you usually do great because you have people already watching you. By the time you get to your second and your third launch, if you don't already have a group of people, then that means you go right back to starting and you're failing because you didn't take the time to assess where you are. You didn't take the time to do the work to grow your ability to actually convert. You didn't take the time to assess where you are and get new tools. You'll never move all the way over to the success that's possible for you. So I love that, Demetria. I love that you totally the thing that you do masterfully is you assess where your clients are, and even when you're training sales teams, because that's her genius is training sales teams, is really looking at the deficiencies, dare I say, in their ability to build relationship, not just conversion. It's the
Hmm.
relationship building piece that I think is even more powerful that leads to conversion.
Yes, yes. So to look at the opportunities, right? On both sides, for yourself and for the person. And again, one bigger than that, I think what I personally want to do is be able to build someone who and build a team that's really missioning alongside you. It's not a separate function. It's really a part of you, an extension of you. How do you make that look seamless, regardless of the turnover, if they come or if they go? How do you make that position replicatable and have the ability to expand? Because your growth is your ability to grow relies on that person. I think there's a quote on this: "You're only as strong as your weakest link." If you can make that piece strong, I mean, so will the rest of your business.
And as you're saying that, it makes me think of I did a podcast recently, and they asked me about my marriage and how's my marriage so strong, and how, if I wanted to give advice to anybody that's single, what would I give them? And I said, my husband is my friend first. So it's based on relationship, not we fell in love fast, but he was my friend first, meaning that we had so many things in common. I mean, we love Prince. I go on and on. I was like, you love Prince too? Well, my first husband, so it was so many things that we had in common that became our foundation. And I think the reason Demetria and I work so well is that we have that same thing. We have that relay. Realize relationship, the first part of relationship is relay. And so when I talk about fingerprint, when I talk about really being clear in your business, it's when you have that relay and your kindred spirits, and you work from the same playbook, and you have that same kind of servant heart. You have that same kind of whatever that is for you. I'm saying the stuff that is for me. It makes it seamless and effortless, right? And you're clear and uncompromising on who you are. But you also have to be coachable. There'll be times that Demetria's like, but take that down. What is that you're talking about? I'm like, What you this little piece right there? Oh, take it off. Okay, I'll take it off. Right. So because she sees the tweaks, and you got to let people operate in their lane of genius, and you operate in theirs. So thank you, Demetria, for all that you are, for all that you bring to the table. Grab this gift. Listen, whether you are just starting out and you want to gauge your growth. And the thing I love about Demetria is, because you're going to end up on her database, right? Y'all know that, right? So the thing I love about Demetria is she's not going to sell you. If you're not ready for this, she's going to say, no, girl, here's where you need to start. Or boy. She doesn't just work with women, right? Or guy or whatever, homeboy, whatever. She's going to tell you what you need next. So take the assessment, get the tools you need, because some of you, your business is stagnant because you're not getting new tools. Your business will never outgrow you. And so you've got to get new tools. So as we close, Demetria, tell folks how they can follow you in addition to getting the growthgaugeassessment.com, growthgaugeassessment.com. Where can they follow you or get more information about what
you can find me on Facebook, Demetria Ruiz, or you can find me on Instagram, which is actually where I spend most of my time. I am Demetria Ruiz.
Yay. Well, thank you again, Demetria. Thank you for all you are and all that you do to show folks a new conversation around sales, which is stewardship. Thank you for being a good steward of your gift, for checking me on my stewardship of my gift, and for teaching us how to do this along the way. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for being a good leader, and thank you for having me on.
Yay. So with that, y'all, that's today's episode of Bankroll Your Brilliance Thursdays. Demetria and I could talk for the next 2 hours, so I had to stop it there. So a couple of things I want to encourage you. Number one, if you have questions, you have a topic you want me to cover on one of these segments, email us. Email byb@blackdoctor.org. And I say that because I really want these segments to bless you, to help you move your purpose forward. It's one thing for you to have a seed that got planted in you. It's another thing for you to water it. My question to you is, are you watering that seed, or is it buried? Is it buried in the ground, in the dirt, or is it being planted and you're watering it so at some time it grows? I need it to grow. So if you have questions that help it grow, I'll need you to email those questions so I can cover it in one of our future segments, and I can look for guests that in alignment with that. Plus, if you want more week after week, listen, in addition to our Thursday segments, follow me on Instagram. I'm always dropping nuggets, giving gifts, giving insight, giving strategies. And then I'm going to encourage you one more time to get the growth gauge assessment. For all of you that are entrepreneurs, and some of you that have been in business and it's time to up-level the way you've been selling and you need the support, grab the growth gauge assessment. So I'll be back live next Thursday with you for another episode of Bankroll Your Brilliance Thursdays. Thank you for joining us. I'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.